Hello and welcome to the Mark Jeffrey Podcast Show. This is episode 24, August the 17th, 2017, recorded from the studio on the hill, southwest UK, not a million miles from London. The Mark Jeffrey Podcast Show is proud to be part of the Britpod scene, and please take time out to listen to lots of fantastic shows simply by typing in hashtag Britpod scene. Episode 24 was once again proudly brought to you by MPC Solutions for all your computering needs. Yo, what the frickin' heck's up, podcasters? Thank you for joining me once again. Hope you're keeping well. And can I just say, God damn, you're looking pretty fine. I was supposed to have my travel agent with me for this episode. We was going to talk holidays and such, but sadly, once again, she couldn't make it. Now, because, believe this or not, Tamsin is actually on her holidays. So what do I have for you this very fine episode 24? Well, I shall be telling you a little bit about what I have been getting up to over the last week or so, having a chat to Liam and talking to him about a few topics that I think you may find very interesting, hopefully, fingers crossed. I will also be introducing to you a band that I came across during the week. Now, you may recall episode 18, I had a sound engineer in by the name of Danny Blackler. Well, he put on his Facebook page a band that he was doing some work with, and I just had to share it with you because they were absolutely fantastic, and I just want to share you the work from the new coming album. They are called Fabulous Weapons, and we have an exclusive here for you. The album hasn't been released yet. Like I said, they are still finalising their artwork, and they told me that it will be out roughly the end of the year, possibly the beginning of New Year. Watch this space. Now, if you're into harder, rockier stuff, you are going to freaking love this. So, let's get this podcast on the road, shall we?
A gun. You pointed me at everyone. You said the time is never right. Said we can't wait until tonight. Said we can't wait until tonight. You said that hard work never pays, that it just leads you to your grave. Ignored my each and every reply. Said we can't wait until tonight. Said we can't wait until tonight. Said we can't wait until tonight. We will go and we won't wait a turn. We will go where the waters burn. Tastes so sweet, so deceptively smooth. We can't wait until tonight. We've got nothing to lose. We can't wait until tonight. We've got nothing to lose. Lightning strikes our dancing shoes. Said the time is running out, so put away your fear and doubt. This ain't no time to be polite. Said we can't wait until tonight. Said we can't wait until tonight. You've got me eating from your hand, buried my keys beneath the sand. You dragged me screaming to the light. Said we can't wait until tonight. Said we can't wait until tonight. Said we can't wait until tonight.
was Fabulous Weapons and the song was Lightning Shoes. And I think the album is called Ready When You Are. And I freaking love it. So lucky to have that one, the chance to have a listen before the release. And I just wanted to share it with you because I thought it was amazing. Fabulous Weapons are a Devon-based band and they have George Birch on the vocals and the guitar. We have Mike Heath on the drums and Alex Kearney on the bass. And if you like what you hear, then you can check them out on Facebook. Simply type in Fabulous Weapons and they will pop up. And if you cannot find them, check out this week's show notes on my show description or by looking up on this episode on my webpage, www.jav10.simplesite.com. Hello, Leroy.
Hello.
You're not really called Leroy.
I'm not.
You're called Liam.
I'm Liam.
I was just trying to tricksty.
Liam
I was being a trickster. You all right, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate.
No Tamsin this week, and I did say just a minute ago that Tamsin could not be with us. Now Tamsin is my travel agent. She does travel, sort of stuff, and she does cruises and all that sort of stuff. But ironically, she cannot be with us tonight because she is on her holidays. So when she gets back, she's promised that she will be coming in and having a little bit of a chat to us. So how are you? How the devil are you, mate? How's your week been? Have you done anything interesting that you'd like to share with those at home that doesn't involve drinking?
No, I did very little drinking, actually.
Shut up.
Had a few
Now I know you're joking.
few days off work, so no, just, I don't know, sleep, drink. Yeah, no, there was drink.
Eat, sleep, drink, repeat. That's what your
pretty
life
much
pretty
that.
much is, isn't it?
Pretty much that, mate.
Yeah. Have you had a good day, though?
Yeah, no, all good.
I've had a pretty crap day today, to be fair.
Oh,
Just work, I just...
it drags sometimes.
But I've had a really enjoyable weekend. I've been down the caravan with the kids.
Oh, yeah, I meant to say, do you have good weather?
Yeah, well, Nikki, she went up to Warwick to see her friend.
Mm-hmm.
She popped up to see her, went on a sparring weekend. It was sort of like, because I went to Kendal.
Sparring? I didn't know she was into boxing.
No. No, she went up to Warwick to see her friend because
Okay.
I went to Kendal, so she went up to Warwick and she had a sparring day.
I see how it is.
And caught up with a friend of hers. And I took the kids down the caravan for the weekend and I've done lots and lots of enjoyable things.
Oh, that's good.
On Saturday, I went go-karting. I went back to St Eville go-kart track.
St Eville, yeah.
Yeah, because I'd done that on my 40th, if you remember.
I do remember it.
And I was on the 270cc go-karts. And I thought that this time, now I'm a pro. I thought I'd ever go on the 390s.
How'd that go?
Well, there was 7 of us that done the race, and I come second. So I was quite happy with that.
Yeah.
But the bloke that overtook me on the second lap was actually using a go-kart that was smaller than mine. And I just couldn't keep up with him. And he had me on the corners every time. So I finished the race and I sort of thought, I don't think these are as good because the 270s, you can absolutely floor it around the corners. And I thought, So when I went and had a look at my lap times, my best lap currently was 1 minute 20.
Yeah.
A lap on the 270s. And what do you reckon my lap time was on a bigger go-kart?
Well, from what you're saying, I'm guessing quite a bit more.
1 minute 8 seconds. So I've actually dropped down 12 seconds.
Oh, right.
So the bloke that was overtook me might have just been an exceptionally good driver. So I've managed to drop 12 seconds on my record. Now, when you think that the lap record of all the people that's ever been there is, I think, 1 minute 3 seconds. I'm not actually a million miles away.
Get down there a couple more times, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll be the new what's he called? Hamilton.
You have the picture taken and put in the lobby.
No, it wasn't quite that good, but it was really enjoyable. The weather was quite nice.
That's good.
So I went down and done a bit of go-karting. And that evening, right, I caught up with one of Nikki's friends, Helen, and we went out for a drink. And have a guess what I got up to.
Oh, God.
And you can say it on air. I didn't get up to any rudies or anything like that with Nikki's friend.
I don't know. What did you get up to, Mark?
Well, I played bingo.
Did you? What,
Yes.
a proper place you went?
Well, no, it was at the holiday camp. There was.
That's
to
proper
Helen,
enough. That's
she
fine.
said, I said, what are you up to tonight? She goes, I'm going to go and play bingo. And I just laughed and I said, oh, right, okay, yeah, good on you. And then I says, well, where's the bingo? She goes, down the clubhouse. So I went down there. I said, well, I won't be playing, but I'll come along and have a drink. Well,
2 hours later.
My car broke down this week and it's going to cost me roughly about £200, I reckon, to fix it.
Flipping heck.
And I got there, and the for a full house, it was £155, and for a line was £45. And I thought, right, well, I've got to be giving myself a go at this because if I win, it's paid for me car. So I had a go, and I was didn't do very well. And then all of a sudden, I started becoming addicted to it. It was like £3 to go, and then I had to give another go, and then another go, and another go. And funny enough, no, I didn't win anything. I even bought some raffle tickets and didn't even win that.
Next time.
So it was enjoyable. Didn't win anything, but got to be in it to win it.
Yeah, that's good. Man.
We went to the beach, had a nice walk along Trianon Bay. We went across to Constantine Bay.
Beautiful.
And then we went to the best beach in the world. It's not the best beach in the world, but it's got the best name in the world.
Right.
Boobies Bay.
Boobies Bay.
And I didn't see any boobies.
Oh.
All I saw was lots of jellyfish.
It's not a naturist.
No,
Oh.
no. And then I was doing a bit of painting the decking down there. The decking on my static caravan needed a bit of painting, so the weather was nice. So Dad cooked up. He came down and he cooked a barbie for the kids and that lot. And while he was doing that, I was doing a bit of painting.
Beautiful. Sounds like you had a good weekend, man.
So yeah, it was good. And then yesterday, we came home in the car. And before we came home, I took the kids down a little adventure park sort of place called Camel Creek.
Okay.
It used to be called. Forgive me, I can't remember what it used to be called. I can't remember, but it's now called Camel Creek, and it's the bloke that owns it now used to own Alton Towers before he sold it to Merlin, whatever the company's called,
Okay.
And he now owns Camel Creek, and he's trying to make it a nice big place. But it's quite good. The kids enjoy it down there.
Okay. Yeah.
And on the way home,
Right.
I've got my first little topic that I want to bring up with you, Liam.
Why is it whenever you go away, something really mad happens? I just know this is going to be...
No, it wasn't nothing mad.
Oh, you're like the Victor Meldrew.
It was on the way back from Camel Creek coming home.
Okay.
I had the radio on, and I think it was on Radio 2 I was listening.
Right.
And Jeremy Vine or somebody was talking to a lady, and her son was currently in prison. And he had a prison cell. Now, I'm driving along, so I've got the kids screaming in my ears, and I don't know the true gist of what it was all about. But this is what I sort of worked out. Her son had been in prison for 10 years. He got done for manslaughter. What it was for, I do not know. But, he's been in prison for 10 years through manslaughter, so it's going to be quite a big sort of case. But the mum was in tears on the radio, and she wanted her son released because whilst he was in prison, he was being beaten by other inmates.
Right.
He'd been raped numerous times.
Okay.
And now because of this, he is self-harming. And what I want to ask you is, I want your opinion on it. Do you feel sorry for the guy?
I thought you were going to ask me what song I'd have played.
Do you feel sorry for the guy? Or, he's done something wrong. He's been in prison. He's been beaten by his inmates. He's been raped by his inmates. And now, because of this, he's misharming, and she feels that she's got to get him out before he commits suicide. What do you think?
See, it's one of them tricky things where it's not that I'm on the fence with it, but you don't want anything to ever happen to someone because whoever does that to someone, it makes them as bad as...
Two wrongs don't make a right.
No, they don't. They don't really. And prison's kind of a place where the kind of petty criminals are supposed to be rehabilitated or kind of brought back to some kind of normality. And some people are just in there for life for doing horrible things. I don't know. It just seems like they're as bad inside as they are outside, really, isn't it?
But do you think that prisons are... I mean, we're only talking now about British prisons, bearing in mind. We have got a lot of people around the world. There's a lot of prisons around the world that are very, very nasty, horrible places. Do you think that our prisons in this country are perhaps a little bit too soft over here in the UK?
I think they probably haven't got the money to be able to do what they need to do. I don't think... I mean, I saw a thing the other day about like the prison wardens or the prison officers that they have in this country, in the UK, and how much money they've taken out of the service. So, I mean, like in America, just for an example, people are genuinely scared to go to prison. Because
exactly.
If you're sent to prison, chances are you're never going to leave. But in this country, if you don't do anything wrong in there, you're let out within half the time. So,
but a lot of these prisons where you was talking about money, not having the money to do what they want to do. A lot of these prisons around the world where people are shit scared of going in, and it is a deterrent, like Russia and South Africa and those sort of places. They haven't got any money. It's a case of you go in a prison cell, you are in there 24 hours a day, you crap in a bucket, you know, and you get beaten by your inmate. I mean, I'm not saying that that's what prisons should be like in this country, but perhaps if prisons were like that in this country, a lot of people wouldn't want to be going in there, if you know what I mean.
But a lot of the like South American prisons and that, and again, stuff I've seen on like documentaries and stuff, the authorities have got no control over it at all. The gangs, the cartels, the people, you know, the mafia, really.
All right, so it's like its own little world.
They run it. It just, and I think really a lot of the authorities are happy with it because it keeps them out of the way of the normal society. But it's strange. I think it comes down to a lack of money with a lot of it. They haven't got the money to invest. They've got crumbling prisons, you know, Dartmoor and things like this. It's forever the staff saying, you know, if something kicked off in there, we've got no one to help us.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I don't want to go into too much details about this because it's a personal thing for you. It's not. I'm not talking about you going inside or anything like that because he hasn't. Don't worry about it, folks.
You said you wouldn't tell anyone about that.
But you work for the post for Royal Mail, like I do. We're both postmen, and you do the union side of it, don't you?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to go down that route, but what I'm aiming towards here now is I just wanted to know what you thought about the how can I put it? The prison service are no longer allowed to go on strike. The government in this country have told the prison service that they are no longer allowed to go on strike. Now, being a union man yourself and doing what do you think about that? You know, I just wanted to briefly think what you think, mate.
It's just wearing down the rights of the worker, really, isn't it? It's far from just being particular services that they're doing it to. I mean, within our own sector, they're making it so that it's almost impossible that if you wanted to ballot for industrial action, you've got to reach a certain point. It could break and end a lot of unions, but it's wrong you can't strike. But I can understand from a point of view, certain professions, I mean, you should be able to bring up your grievances, but in the same way, if you go out on strike and they haven't got cover, you know, it's the same with the fire brigade, or it's a tough one, mate.
Well, the forces aren't allowed to strike. They've never been allowed to strike.
It's a tough one, but like you've got to ask the question, I suppose, why are they fighting for the right to strike, even if they're not able to? There's something wrong, isn't there, that needs sorting out? Yeah.
So that's just one little thing that I wanted to bring up with you at home, the listener. Yeah. I wanted to find out what you think about it. You know, should prison services be able to go on strike if they want to? And regarding the lady that was concerned about her son that was getting beaten and raped and was self-harming, should she be allowed to get her son removed? Get in contact with me, jaff10@hotmail.com. Tell me what you think. That's that, Liam. Now, on the way home from Camel Creek, I was driving home. And not the camel toe. We're not going to talk about that. Well, we won't go into that. I'll tell you off the air about that. I was coming home from Camel Creek and was bringing the kids home last night, and I got caught up in the Boardmasters traffic. Now, Boardmasters is a festival that we have down here in the southwest UK, not a million miles from London, in a little town. Well, it's not a little town. It's quite a big town called Newquay. And another thing I wanted to bring up, I know you've got your laptop out here now, Liam, and you're probably going to tell the listener at hhome a little bit about Boardmaster in a second. But one thing that's peed me off a little bit in the society that we live in is the media and how they try to all the time belittle organisations and try to disrupt things. Now, what I'm coming from is I heard Spotlight, which is a division of the BBC. They were on the television this morning, and they were going on about how there'd been so much trouble at Boardmasters. A lot of tents got robbed, and I think the artist Stormzy, there was a stampede at the front of the stage, and they were saying that, you know, loads of people got crushed at the front. And basically, cut a long story short, the BBC were trying their hardest to slag off Boardmasters Festival. Now, what annoys me is the fact that every festival you go to, there's always a mosh pit at the front. Us at home, we know, you know, that you've got that risk. If you go at the front, you're going to get trampled. You know that if you go to a festival, there is a slight possibility that your tent's going to get robbed. You know, don't leave your valuables in the tent unattended. When you sleep with them on you so that you don't get them nicked. why are the BBC and other, not just the BBC, but other organisations, why are they continuously trying to slag off and belittle, these festivals, and not just festivals, but things that go on in the community when they bring so much money and so much attention to a community? I mean, Boardmaster, you can tell us a little bit about it. It brings a huge amount of money to Cornwall. Why is a Cornish radio station trying to, cause trouble for them?
I think it's always happened, isn't it? I think because it's a youth culture thing as well, and it's mainly not just for young people, but mainly beach orientated, kind of surfing orientated almost, and that's how it started really. But it's a big festival. But
it is. I don't know how many people go there. Do you?
I don't exactly, but it is a big old event, and it's got bigger every year that it has been run. But I think Newquay's had a bit of a checkered past as well, really, because they've been trying the past 3 or 4 years to get away with Newquay from it being like the UK Ibiza, haven't they?
They have, yeah.
And I think they've done quite well, really. They've tried to make it more of a local, because it is a normal, it's a normal place where there's normal families and normal tourists turning up. But at night, it did have a reputation and did kick off most nights, to be fair, with, again, a lot of younger people. But I don't know. I think you can shoot yourself in the foot, can't you? We kind of rely on this to...
Yeah. I mean, it brings huge amounts of tourism into the county, and it just annoyed me when I was listening to that this morning, trying to... I don't want to say anything more about it, but there was some big acts there this year.
Big acts.
I mean, Stormzy was there.
Stormzy,
bit of grime music.
Jamiroquai.
And I was a bit savage about that because Jamiroquai is an artist that I've wanted to see for a long time. I was speaking to Nick today, and he said that Jamiroquai, he said that Jamiroquai was really, really good. He sounded like he did in the 90s, but he wasn't jumping around the stage like he did in the 90s because he's just had a major back operation, apparently.
So it's on a splint thing.
They're all getting old, these artists. Now, who else was there, Liam?
There were the Vaccines.
Yeah, they're very good.
Two Door Cinema Club. I mean, all big stuff that up until quite a few years back, or only a few years back, you wouldn't expect to ever hear down in Cornwall.
Exactly. It's nice to have a good venue down here.
It's nice to see something past Bristol, really, But no, I think they learn from mistakes every year. But like you say, it's a shame that the media... only seem to point out the bad things that have happened.
Pick up the good things. Come on, BBC.
Yeah.
Do some good shit for once.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, talking about festivals, there's another big festival that goes on in the UK. It used to be 2 separate festivals. It is 2 separate festivals, but they've sort of linked together. Now they're called the Reading and Leeds Festival. Now, something that I read in the paper today that did make me chuckle, and I think you at home will like this too, is whenever you have a festival, you have to set some rules. And they have to make things, that you're not allowed to bring into the festival. Like most festivals, you're not allowed to bring in glass bottles, you're not allowed to bring in fireworks, and you're not allowed to bring in weapons for generous reasons and drugs and stuff like that.
Damn, that's the end of my festival.
But what item do you think that Reading and Leeds Festival have banned from this year's festival?
Well, the way you've said it, it's going to be something that you would never guess had been banned.
Yeah, correct. Have a guess.
Oh. Something to do with camping?
No. Pineapples.
What, because they're being thrown like grenades?
Reading and Leeds Festival this year have banned pineapples because of a band that's playing there, and the band is an Oxford band, and it's called Glass Animals. Now, this band from Oxford, Glass Animals, they do a song called Pork Soda, and in this song there's words that include pineapples are in my head. Now, normally at this song, when this song is played, the people in the crowd bring in pineapples and chuck pineapples onto the stage. Now, they're worried that Reading and Leeds Festival, it's a big festival, they're worried that everybody that goes there's going to be an influx of pineapples, so they've put a ban this year on pineapples, and I thought that was a fantastic little story, and I had to share it with you.
I like how it's specific.
Pineapples.
Because it could be anything, couldn't it? Fruit. We're banning
God.
fruit.
Now, staying with music,
Yep.
Sadly, Glen Campbell passed away last week.
You did.
Now, you're a sort of guy that likes his music. I loved his music. He done songs like the Rhinestone Cowboy and was it Witchy Woman? Or was it
Wichita Lime.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. How old was he? Do you know I know he's been suffering from Alzheimer's, was it, for the last 5
living
years?
with Alzheimer's for the past few years. But he did an album fairly recently, which was like his final album. That he knew it was going to be final album.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's funny that it's sparked interest. Really, I suppose it always does when someone passes away in their music and how popular stuff's getting for people ordering it now. There was that cover album that
was brilliant. I put you onto that one, didn't I?
Travis, we did Travis sing.
Yeah, and he done a Foo Fighters song as well.
But I mean, that's a couple of artists. I mean, Johnny Cash was another one that did Hurt or 9 Inch Nails stuff. Actually, songs that shouldn't have sounded as good as they did.
The Foo Fighters song and the Travis song that he'd done, I can't remember which one it was. I actually preferred them to the Travis and the Foo Fighters version.
Oh, it was really brilliant.
I think that it was they done Travis sing, and I can't remember which Foo Fighters it was. But have you got anything more that you'd like to say on that one? Any information about him? I don't know how old he was when he was it 86? Did I see?
I think he was a bit younger than that. He was 81 when he passed away on the 8th. 81 years old. But I never knew. I mean, he was said to be the first artist that properly crossed from country into pop, almost, even though like people like Johnny Cash were always really more country or just outside country stuff. But some of his guitar stuff, and if people go onto YouTube and have a look, some of the stuff where he does like classical stuff like William Tell and that, but he plays it, he's so good on the guitar anyway.
Brilliant.
Really, really good. And a lot of the work that he's done on it's some of the acoustic stuff, he picks the guitar so quick.
I love Rhinestone Cowboy. Have you ever seen a video for that?
Yes.
In fact, he's dressed up with a big white cowboy hat and a white suit, isn't he? He's riding on horseback. He looked like Boss Hogg off the Dukes of Hazzard.
You wouldn't believe, that someone would agree to go from one song that he might do to that, but it made him millions. But no, it's a loss. It's a
very,
sad
very
loss.
sad. And one that I wasn't surprised. I heard that he sadly had Alzheimer's a few years ago, and I knew that it was coming to an end for him. But such a shame. That was Glen Campbell, who sadly passed away last week. Now, yesterday was a very interesting day. Yesterday saw 50-year anniversary, and again I was in the car yesterday driving back, and it was something else that came up, and I had the kids shouting, like I said, so I'm not 100% sure what I'm talking about. You will help me out here. But pirate radio stations, it was 50 years ago yesterday that there was a maritime law brought out to ban all pirate radio stations on the water. Now, I know that you're into Radio Carolina, Liam, and I know that you're all into that genre of music that it brought, and that decade of, that time that it was all about. Was you aware of this?
Yeah, and I did hear a bit about this. Obviously, I knew about Radio Caroline and a lot of this stuff. I mean, Radio Caroline went through from the 60s on and off through to the 90s when there were a lot of other ships and a lot of other stations. But basically, the government cracked down 50 years ago on any offshore radio broadcasts, but all they were set up for was to try and be different than the BBC, really, and all of the kind of established radio stations. They were bored with just hearing the Beatles and the Kinks and stuff like that. They wanted to bring over like Northern Soul music and a lot of Tamla Motown and things like that we wouldn't have heard unless there was a ship, a few miles off the coast playing it. And it had a hell of a following, really, a cult following.
Was it, I can't remember which broadcaster it was, but he said that he went on the ship and they were supposed to be going out for 3 months doing a cruise, shall we say, playing music. And they actually didn't come back for 3 years. They were at sea for 3 years.
Quite possibly, but some of the biggest names, like,
John Peel?
Tony Blackburn, a lot of the big names now that you see on, especially a lot of the vintage or the golds and radio stations, they all started there, and even Radio 2, ironically, they were set up to try and get away from it, but a lot of them have found their way on there. But no, it's really interesting. A lot of the stuff that they just basically, they got big backing, a lot of them, from big companies, usually in America or overseas, and they went out there and they played records for hours and hours and hours to most of the country.
Could you imagine that? Can you imagine being on a ship? Now, imagine that. You and me, Liam, we're on a boat. We're on the Tamar, right? Going back 60 years, and you're trying to, hello, my name is Liam Cloak, and thank you for joining Radio Carolina here down on the Tamar, here in Cornwall and Devon on the border. Next, we are going to play the Kinks. Next, we're going to play the Kinks. Next, we're going to play the Kinks. Imagine that, putting a record on, right, and there's real rough sea, and it all skipping. Imagine doing that back then.
I mean, and these were big ships as well, but they had to, towards the end, I mean, up to this 50 years ago, the government really got cracked down properly, and they pulled the plug, but they were attacked, and I've seen a lot of the
properly attacked by like the Navy and stuff.
They had people going in there and bombing them, and
really
trying to clear out rooms, engine rooms, steal the transmitters, and actually most of the time they actually won appeals to be able to get equipment back. It was just the radio authority cracking down and the government. They had no real grounds.
Who was bombing them then? Who was that? Was it pirates attacking the pirates?
No, well they had a lot of the government services and people set up just to go in and try and stop them. But there was a lot of it was strange. Not only the government, but like you say, they had a lot of rival pirate stations and all like that. But most of them got on, and Radio Caroline is one of the biggest and one that kind of spanned through the most decades, I think.
So when did that pack in then? Have you any idea?
Well, it actually carried on until the early 90s when they started they went on to Sky, I think, Sky Radio, for anyone who ever listened. And I think it's basically on your Sky program guide. You used to be able to listen to Caroline. But they've actually gone to DAB in recent years and now have won a license, actually a first community license, because they always offer it for FM. But now they've kind of pushed them into a corner with AM. So now they've got an AM license, and they're going to be broadcasting on AM in a local area, and you never know, it might spread. We might have a resurgence in boats.
Brilliant.
Off the coast.
I can remember once upon a time a mate of mine when I was living in a small town in Cornwall. The place is called Callington. Everything happens in Callington.
It does.
It is where the Wicker Man comes from. I went to a friend of mine's house one evening after a party. I won't tell you for what reason. But I went round his house and they had set up a pirate radio station.
Okay.
And it was quite funny. They were all upstairs doing mixing on the decks and stuff like that. And they had a transmitter and a wire going out the window, and it was zigzagging across the street, right, from one flat to the next, because opposite the flat was one of their mates.
Right.
So they had a cable from their house to the mate's house, back again, back again, a long strip of wire. And they were transmitting on FM, right opposite the police station in Callington.
It's probably the last place you'd look, isn't it?
I don't know what the range was. I think it was probably getting to like 4 or 5 shops down or something like that. But it was quite funny. That's the closest I've ever come to a pirate radio station. But it would have been good to have been around in those days and seeing all of these people doing these radio stations and getting out there.
Well, they say, like, now London's still got a big problem with it. People transmitting and doing pirate stuff, and on DAB as well. But most people don't bother now. They just go online, set up a radio station or play a playlist. It's not taking the fun away, but I still like to see the ships broadcasting, knowing that there are people out there in their kitchens and in their houses listening to a boat playing music. Ding, 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 ding.
There you go. It's also, this weekend was the start of the Premier League season. I'm not a big Premier League fan myself. I'm a Championship man. For all those people around the world that don't know what we're talking about, we're talking about soccer. In America, they call it soccer, but in the UK, it's football. And it's just gone crazy. It's gone crazy. Who do you think will win the Premier League this year, Liam? I don't know what the odds are for teams, but who do you reckon's going to win?
That's the thing. I don't think you can really say anymore. It just seems to be so... After Leicester the other year, it seems to be so on its head, really. It doesn't matter how much money you spent, does it? Or it's how you've put the team together.
I'm back in Manchester City this year. I think that they're gonna do it. You went down the local boozer with Ross and a few other guys the other day to watch the Spurs. Was it the Spurs Newcastle game? Wasn't it, where Spurs won 2-0? Was it a good game of football?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good game, and you kind of get that atmosphere in a pub as well, where there's a lot of people come wearing their shirts and stuff like that. It's good fun, but like you say, that is the big thing. The money that is now spent within
it's crazy. I mean, like Neymar from Barcelona, he's just signed for Paris Saint-Germain, and I think he's just sold for 198 million. Now, I'm not sure if it's $1 million or £1 million. I'm not sure. As soon as I heard that money being chucked around where he's getting paid £500,000 a week, I just switched off from it. And you've just also Coutinho, he is under contract at Liverpool, and he's just handed his transfer request in after Barcelona have offered, I think, in the region of £90 million for him to move from Anfield over to the new camp. And it's just like, it's ridiculous money. It is ridiculous money. Should these transfer fees be capped by now, do you think?
I reckon so. And I think they're working, I saw today, they're looking at like making the transfer windows a lot shorter through the summer. That doesn't mean that big money's not going to be spent, but it takes the fun away from it, doesn't it? It's like a lot of people have said, it's the big, often like Arab countries or big countries that want to put big money into it. They don't care how much they spent. They could have spent 3 or 4 times what they have spent, and it still wouldn't have made a dent.
Well, I've noticed that, like I say, the team that I support, Brentford, the mighty Brentford, the Bees, they play in the Championship, which is the division below the Premiership. And I mean, even huge amounts of money are hitting there now, on the region of like 12 to 18 million pounds players are selling for.
It's a lot.
And I've noticed that, like in the Premier League, players that were valued at 12 million this year, their prices seem to have risen to 30 million. The 12 million price is now 30 million, you know what I mean? It's just crazy money. I just don't know when it's going to stop.
Do you think it's as enjoyable to watch and play for them? Because really, they've got no reason to, they're not playing it for the football, are they, anymore?
I think the problem is, mate, it's the money that the agents are declaring, demanding now. It's the agents that are ruining football.
It's less about the team, really, isn't it? It's more about the person. But
Anyway, are you feeling a little bit hungry? Because I'm feeling a bit hungry. I started my new diet again today. I'm back on it again. I'm on my fasting diet. But I don't know if you fancied something to eat.
I'm going to say yes.
Because the reason why I say it is we're going to be playing the next song by Fabulous Weapons from their new album. Now, when I say their new album, it hasn't yet been released yet. They're still in the process of doing the artwork for it, and it's going to be out in the new year.
Okay.
But you've picked a song from the album that you like, and it's called Buffet City.
It is. I like the start of this, and I like all of it, but it's a very good tune by the sound of it, and do like the station-y reference at the start. I'm a bit of a geek, all the sound effects and stuff. We're
going to check this out to you now. This is Fabulous Weapons, and the song is Buffet City. Yum, yum.
Ladies and gentlemen, all tickets please. Buffet City, all tickets.
Joints when I can't lose, when I can't win, when I'm
So that was Buffet City, the name of the song, and that was by Fabulous Weapons. And like I said earlier on in the show, I came across them from Danny Blackler. He is a sound engineer in Devon, and he had that up on Facebook. He's just done a live studio recording session with them, and I had to share that with you because I thought it was a fantastic 2 tracks from them, from
Beautiful.
their EP.
No, I look forward
from
to
their album, should I say.
Look forward to the album being released.
They sound very, very good. Something very different, something a bit harder, but very good. I enjoyed that, didn't you?
Yeah, no, I did. I really did. You wouldn't know that they weren't already out there in a big way and on the national or UK kind of top tunes.
Check them out.
Check them out.
Check them out. Anyway, Liam, what have you got for us this week? I know I've been rabbiting on here for 41 minutes. 41 minutes has gone past.
It's gone very
Once
quick.
upon a time, this podcast used to be half an hour long. Now it's 41 minutes.
I got involved and it's 3 hours.
So it's good. It's good shit. What have you got for us this week, mate?
Well, the news this week that BT is to scrap 20,000 unused phone boxes by...
Can I just say, before we
Yes.
carry on, BT in the UK is British Telecom.
It is indeed.
Or British Telecommunications.
It is indeed. And it is basically all of the... once upon a time was the only telephone company for landlines in your house. But much the same as in most parts of the world, they had boxes, so telephone boxes or kiosks.
They used to be red, didn't they?
And I think our telephone boxes were pretty much up there as known around the world, the same as the red post box or Big Ben or anything like that. So to get rid of, and there are 7,000 red telephone boxes.
You need a
left.
post box under you.
Soon. There are 7,000 red telephone boxes left in the UK, but they're saying some of them are getting 1 or 2 phone calls a year. Some of them, they're just not getting any kind of use. Now, it's strange, I would have thought, because I know everyone carries a mobile phone, but a lot of these boxes are in areas where there aren't that good a signal. And I think for like emergencies or anything like that, where you couldn't use a mobile or for whatever, I think it's a shame. I can understand why they would take the choice or that, decision to get rid of so many, but they're talking about the newer boxes too. They're just saying they're not being used.
Do you know, I was going to say that, but you pipped me to the post.
Pip.
You get it?
Pip.
I draw the line sometimes on my jokes. No, so what you're saying then basically is over in the UK we've got these red telephone boxes. They've changed colour now, but as from when they're going to be got rid of?
2022, they reckon they're looking to scrap all of them pretty much because they're saying they're not getting the use. But isn't that something they should have really realised when the mobile phone came out? It was.
Well, you say that, mate. You say that. We've gone on about telephones in this country. Right to the right of you there, you have a landline telephone. Now, I don't know about you in your house, but how often do you use your I mean, whenever I ring up people and they on my mobile, they say, "Okay, Mr. Jeffrey, what is your telephone number, your home telephone number?" I haven't got a clue. We've had a telephone line in the house here now 3 years, and I have not got a clue what my home number is. Nobody ever rings us on it. How often do you use your phone at home?
A fair bit, I must admit. No, a fair bit. But a lot of the phones now at home are walk-around ones anyway, aren't they? So they're wireless. Quite a few of them, even though they're landline. But it seems strange. It's not that many years ago you sat down and you had to have an extension lead in or something like that to be able to carry it around.
I can remember in the days when you used to have that telephone and it was on a dial. And if you wanted to dial 999, you have to go 9.
Yeah.
9.
If you were actually
9.
in the house dying, it took
you
an hour to...
It'd take you about an hour to ring up somebody.
But no, it's a strange thing to think, and people rely a lot on, even if you've got a landline, on the portable phone. So if there was no electric, you wouldn't be able to ring anyone, would you?
No.
So I don't know. It seems a shame. All these places we have on, UK television that might be in dramas or things like that, where you see boxes and things, and to think they're gone, people do notice when they're gone, I think.
Yeah, it'd be a sad day, man. Anything else you've noticed?
Anything else that I've noticed? Well, I am going to say I did have something. I've completely forgotten, actually. Train fares. I know it's all over the world. Different countries have got different rail networks, different ways of doing things. Now, they've just said in the United Kingdom that they are going to be putting up rail fares by quite a bit. In fact,
Crazy. Stupid.
One of the highest rates to go up. But we're not really getting value for money, are we? I mean,
not at all.
If you want to go to, or like me and a mate looked into going to London, and you type it in on the computer, and 150 quid or something like that.
That's cheap.
And that's cheap.
Yeah.
No, honestly, it just seems insane. It really does. I mean, I think people wouldn't mind paying more if we were getting a good service, really, but it's hit or miss.
I very, very rarely use the trains for the simple fact, like the other day, I looked at going from here to Penrith and back on the train, and it come up to nearly £300 return, and I flew up for £71 return. And, I just don't, and the difference was like 12 hours on the train compared to 1 hour, 5 minutes on the plane. I don't, it's beyond me, mate, how they can go and charge so much money.
It's odd. I think if the trains were better and the service was a bit better, I mean, we haven't got the worst service in the world, obviously. We're not having to ride on the outside of cabs and stuff like that, not yet. But, I mean, 3 hours to like London isn't bad, is it, on a train? And you haven't got to drive and anything like that. But if you're talking nearly 200 quid to get to London, time you get there, it's quite a bit.
I might have to get my friend in. He's called Craig, and he works for the British Rail. He's one of those, he's like a trolley dolly for British Rail. I might have to get him in next week, perhaps, and we can have a little bit more of a chat about this. See what he has to say.
Yeah, I'd like to see, because someone who doesn't work for a particular company but works on the station or something like that, it's probably strange what they see. But it's strange that we in this country don't have and this is what Labour obviously wanted to do, and it would have been quite a big job, but they just want one national rail carrier. Whereas at the minute, we've got so many. If you're waiting for a train, that you go to Plymouth Station, which is local to us, and you don't know who you're getting it with. If you're going to some place, your Great Western Railway, cross country, Virgin train coming through, it's all a bit of a nightmare. You're dealing with quite a few different companies.
There you are. Anyway, thank you all once again for listening to episode 24 of the Mark Jeffrey Podcast Show. Please check out my webpage, www.jaff10@simplesight.com, for this week's links and show notes. Look me up on Instagram, the Mark Jeffrey Podcast. I'm also on Twitter @Jaff10 and Facebook, and also on iTunes. And all the links mentioned on this episode will be on those domains. Please leave me a comment on iTunes, because that'll be really, really freaking cool. And if you're a band or you just fancy appearing on my podcast, have a little bit of a chat to me and Liam, please send me an email, jaff10@hotmail.com, and say, here, Jaffers, I want to appear on your show. Don't forget, the Mark Jeffrey Podcast Show is now a member of the Brit Pod scene. Check me out, Liam. And you can find us by typing in on your computer thing, #BritPod scene. Thanks once again, Liam. It's an honour to have you here with us.
Pleasure to be here.
Any last words before we ramshack and shut up the shop?
Stay safe out there, kids.
Thank you, Liam. Time to wrap up this podcast. Don't forget to look after yourselves and those around you. Treat others as you wish to be treated yourself. And remember, yes, remember, your life may not be as crazy as you once freaking thought it was.